Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to Audiobook Dynasty. If you want early access and even more parts for free, make sure to join me on Patreon. Chapter 31, Involving the Devil. He turned it off. That, he did. Tsubaki and Sana spoke to each other while wondering why Issei suddenly closed off the call. They blinked their eyes and failed to understand Hyoudou Issei's way of thinking. They only wanted to tell his little brother that his brother was in the student council room, sitting on the couch while chuckling at the two girls who couldn't understand what had happened. Of course, he will close the phone immediately when you say that. He already knows that Sana is a devil after all. Jin thought, trying his best to hold his laughter from erupting. He was nursed by Sana and Tsubaki last night after he faked being injured by Kalawarner, which was a part of his plan to involve the devil to attack the fallen angel's base. And it worked. While it was slightly different from what he planned, his plan still worked. At first, he wanted to let Sana find him lying on the street with his body covered in blood and Kalawarner would hide somewhere to inform him if any fallen angel or someone else approached. But unexpectedly, Sana showed up earlier, and so he could only let Kalawarner pretend to run while her light spear injured him. Tsubaki Shinra also showed up with her, something that he didn't take into account. As it turned out, Tsubaki Shinra was Sana's peerage member. She was a former human and got reincarnated as a devil. They explained it to him yesterday when he regained consciousness. As he planned, Sana took him back to the Kuah Academy as the priority, maybe because she felt guilty because he was first involved with the supernatural because she had gotten close to him or something. Anyway, he managed to let Sana get involved in attacking the fallen angel's base. His injury was a bit hurt, but he could manage. He would drink milk from Kalawarner again today to grind the EXP in lifespan. Don't worry about it, Sana. I think that idiot brother will arrive shortly. Jin said as he shrugged his shoulders. However, instead of Sana, Tsubaki was the one who answered him. Are you sure, Jin-kun? He appeared to be rather panicked when I said you are with us. Panicked? Sana asked, glancing at Jin suspiciously. Could it be you told him that I was a devil? Surely you didn't bring your brother to the supernatural world too, right? Of course. That little brother of mine was targeted. Do you think I will hide the fact from him and make him ignorant of what will come to him? Are you kidding me, Sana? Jin replied with a cold tone, glaring at Sana. Ignorance was bliss. But, when someone became a target of something dangerous, they couldn't stay ignorant. It would only put them in danger. It is dangerous. Sana shouted back, losing a little bit of her composure. No matter what she did to calm herself down, somehow, her emotion would come out first every time she dealt with Jin. It irked her, but she couldn't do anything. She was worried about the human named Jin. She had come to accept him as an equal. That was the reason why she didn't turn him into the devil yesterday. She didn't want him to hate her. More reason to not stay ignorant. I will train my brother so he can defend himself like what I did yesterday. Ha! Sana scoffed as she crossed her arms. You got your leg injured and said you can defend yourself? Let me tell you, the fallen angel that you fought yesterday was weak. She was only a low-class one in the supernatural world. Yeah, I know. Jin dismissed Sana by waving his hand. He already knew that from Kalawarner. She told him about the class of angels, fallen angels, and devils yesterday when they were talking about his plan. Of course, he knew that Kalawarner was only low class, with her only having 2 wings. Jin stayed optimistic even after hearing about the class. Why? Because that meant he could still get more powerful skills and a lot of EXP if he drank from a high-class supernatural entity. He also heard that Sana was a high-class born devil. But, strangely, he only got a few EXP from her. Kalawarner explained it was because she was only born as a high-class devil. Sana's strength was still far from being the real high-class devil. So that was the reason why Jin only got a few EXP from Sana. She was still growing as a devil. But Sana. Let's put it like this. Jin leaned his back against the couch, looking straight at Sana's eyes. I can technically fight on par with a low-class fallen angel a day after I was attacked and found out about supernatural world. I am amazing, right? When Jin put it like that, Sana couldn't even deny it. It was true that Jin was amazing. Being able to fight a fallen angel as a normal human was a feat that not anyone could achieve. Jin being able to use the light sword itself was already impressive. So Sana could only swallow her words and change what she was about to say to something else. Fine, she sighed. But, I will be the one who takes care of the fallen angel this time. No, I guess you won't be satisfied with that. I will let you join the fallen angel's extermination in 2 days, on Sunday. Prepare yourself. Aha! You know me well, Sana. Did last night make us closer than I expected? Jin teased as he smiled playfully. Wah! What are you talking about? I don't know what you mean. Sana's face flushed red. At that moment, Sabeki glanced at her president and wondered, what happened between them yesterday? This is the first time I saw Kaiku acting like this. However, Sabeki stayed silent as the situation was a little bit interesting for her. Her president had always teased her, so it was a fresh sight to see Sana flustered because of a boy. You know what I mean. Anyway, my brother would be arriving in just about a few seconds. As Jin said that, heavy footsteps rang in the hallway outside of the room. The footsteps unexpectedly belonged to two people. A few seconds later, the door was slammed open, and two people with nothing that could connect them were standing in front of the door. They were Issei and a girl with red hair, Reincarnated. Once the door was opened, Issei suddenly shouted loudly while still in his pajamas. Nii-san. Are you okay? Don't worry. I will help you. Yet. Explain this right now, Sana. Reincarnated added. Jin, who had no idea why Issei was with Reincarnated, thought, well, this will be a bit troublesome. The four students sat on the couch. Jin sat beside Issei, while Sana sat beside Rias. Sabeki was preparing tea for them. The atmosphere was a bit tense. Issei looked around nervously, confused by the situation in the room. No one said anything. Rias glared at Sana while the bespectacled girl sat calmly with her eyes closed, ignoring the redhead. So getting enough of the silence, Rias opened her mouth as she surveyed the room, stopping her gaze when her gaze arrived at Jin. What's happening here? She glanced at Jin's bandaged leg. Clearly, she was a bit angry for whatever reason that Jin didn't know of. However, one thing was for sure. Reincarnated was a devil. Somehow, he got a bad feeling from her. Whether it felt like she could destroy him if he didn't use his room, and yes. His milking room was still on cooldown, so he must proceed carefully. Sana opened her eyes slightly as she glared back at Rias. Nothing happened. Just a boy from our school got attacked by a fallen angel yesterday because someone had deliberately let them roam free even when I told her to just fix the problem immediately. Now a victim has appeared, what would you do? Whoa, that's savage. So as I had expected. Sana could have stopped the fallen angel, Raynare, from fleeing but chose not to because she has some agreement with the other devil. It seems that Reincarnated has another plan with the fallen angel, whatever it is. Jin quickly analyzed the situation with just one word. He wasn't considered one of the smartest students for nothing, he could use his brain. There is another possibility where Sana didn't stop Raynare because she didn't want to take a risk because devil is weak against holy magic, according to Kala, but what I expected had turned out to be the truth. Well, what should I do next? His plan stopped at involving Sana in dealing with the fallen angel. But now, another player had joined in. And this player was unpredictable, as Jin didn't know the redhead's personality well except that she acted a little bit haughty when he saw her in the cafeteria. That's you can just erase their memories. Rias replied with a higher voice, trying to overpower Sana. Erase our memories. Issei exclaimed in surprise. He looked at Jin and asked, what are they talking about, Nii-san? SHH, just listen for now, Jin answered in a low voice so Sana and Rias couldn't hear him. This is information collecting, got it? Before dealing with her, I need to know about Reincarnated's personality. Issei nodded obediently. I got it. He then listened quietly as Jin instructed. For him, Jin's reasoning made sense. Jin didn't know anything about devils outside what Sana told him, while Issei knew nothing at all except what Jin told him. Who knew that Sana lied to Jin? That was also possible. So collecting information from the conversations between devils was the best and most trusted way to get some intelligence. I can't do that anymore, Rias. Now that we are all here, let's be honest. You want to get Hyoudou Issei into your peerage, no? That's why you let that fallen angel get close to him. You want him and his sacred gear. Sana exclaimed with a slightly lower tone. Now everything was connected. Jin put his hand above his mouth to hide his frown. I see. Peerage, high-class devil's subordinates. A reincarnated devil and a sacred gear. So that's it. As expected, right? My decision of not trusting the devils is also correct. I should only believe in my own strength, not the others. Maybe I will be able to find some trusted one in the future, but this world is fucked up. I have no high hope. Jin mused. Let's just hope that I can get a skill to make someone unable to lie to me. Or better yet, bind someone to me so they will be mine. I should be careful around Kala, too, in this case. Fortunately, Sana didn't seem to have a plan to reveal to her friend about Jin being able to hold the ground against a fallen angel. It was fortunate for Jin as he would be able to move a little bit freely around Rias in the future as she would underestimate him for being a normal human without power. Issei glanced at Rias, and Jin noticed a slight smile on his mouth. Don't ever think of joining, Issei. We know nothing. It could be a slave contract or something similar, for you know. From what I heard from Sana, the reincarnated devil never got any high position in hell, or in this case, the underworld. I know. I won't do anything foolish. But, what is this sacred gear that they are talking about? Am I a special human or something? Issei foolishly asked Jin. I will explain it later, but for now Jin looked at Rias. Her face was boiling in anger. Angry at her best friend for accusing her. I am not. I am about to deal with the fallen angel tomorrow. What about you, Sana? You also want Hyoudou in your peerage, right? I do, but he refused. I can't force him, and I won't force him. As I said, since we are all already here, and they know about supernatural in us, just ask Hyoudou Issei to join your peerage and explain it yourself. It's better to ask directly instead of planning something that can make him hate you. That Rias was at a loss for the word as she looked at Sana. She then glanced at Issei and Sana alternatively before blushing and pretending to cough. She regained her composure as she crossed her arms and looked at Issei. That's true. Somehow, a cheeky and smug smile appeared on Ria's face as she turned her predatory glare at Issei. Alright. Hyoudou Issei. Yes. Issei answered as he straightened his back. He was nervous facing a beautiful girl with a smug smile, opposite to Jin, who shrugged his shoulders, disappointed by what he saw. Rias smirked. She was satisfied with the answer, then, she put on air to make things more dramatic. Will you dash? Unfortunately, there was someone who got enough of this and already knew what Rias would say next. So, before she could finish her sentence, Jin raised his hand and said. We refuse. Becoming a devil is a no, thank you. At that moment, everyone's face fell. Are you sure we will be okay, Nii-san? Issei asked anxiously as they both walked back home. Jin's leg was injured, so Issei lent him a shoulder to help him walk. It was something that Jin appreciated, as the wound in his leg hurt. I should get some regeneration power. If I am not wrong, the devil named Phoenix in the Lesser Key of Solomon was depicted as a phoenix. Maybe that devil also exists in this world? I would like to drink her milk if she was a woman to get the phoenix's regeneration. Jin thought so, ignoring Issei's question. The pain in his leg was immense. That was natural, as he made a little mistake calculating the wound he would receive and took a full-blown attack of the spear right on his leg. Nii-san. Hey. I am asking whether we will be okay leaving like that. I guess Rias Gremory-senpai is angry right now. Issei shouted once again, to which Jin registered this time. That will be fine. Sana will do something about her. Besides, I told them that I would explain everything about the peerage to you and let them think twice, right? So you can just give her the same answer when we meet them again in 2 days, and Rias Gremory will be satisfied. I see that's good, then. To be honest, Jin managed to understand at least what Rias Gremory actually planned with Issei. At least according to his guess, Rias Gremory was observing Raynare's movement, who suddenly went close to Issei. On the other hand, she had also planned to invite Issei to her peerage. The best and fastest way to make Issei agree to join was to save him and show him the power of the devil. It was dangerous, but using someone to observe the enemy's movement wasn't a bad idea. Jin himself would surely do that if he faced an unknown enemy. One of the reasons why he didn't use his milking room immediately when he faced Kala Warner. The other reason was him trying to see how far he could fight against a supernatural enemy with his physical ability and newly acquired magic. When they reached the house, Issei helped Jin to go into his room before leaving for school. The guy was still in his pajamas and was certainly not late to school because it was only 7 in the morning. After his little brother left, Jin sat on his bed and opened his phone to read some news on the internet. He was still researching about supernatural, trying to find any races that could possibly exist. That way, he could make some plan for which race he should get their abilities first to survive in this world. Vampires, Youkai, devils, angels, fallen angels, dragons, and gods? Among them, I have already got devil and fallen angel, but I think the skills owned by each individual are different. Well, it seems that I need to make some priority. After a few minutes of browsing the monitor, Jin finally decided on his next target. He would need some magic from the devil again. Water magic from Sana was convenient, but it was still not enough. Putting his phone aside, Jin sprawled on the bed and sighed. It couldn't be more troublesome than it already is. 2 devils wanted to take my brother and me as subordinates. Fortunately, I'd tamed Sana, and she didn't force me to join her, but that Rias Gremory is a problem. From what I see, she appears to be quite stubborn. As a smirk crawled onto his face, Jin rested his body a little, looking at the ceiling. But someone stubborn can be tamed. So my next target is set. He muttered. That was indeed the case with Sana, and he was confident he could do it again as today, he gained someone to be milked for almost all the time. Speaking of the woman, here she came. The window of Jin's room was knocked on 3 times, making him turn around to look at it. You're here. He chirped as he raised his body. He saw the woman, his newly acquired personal cow, knock on his window. Just enter. It's not locked. His personal cow smiled and opened the window. Please excuse me, Jin-sama. I am here as ordered. And I bring the result of what I did. She raised her hand, holding a plastic bag with 3 bottles full of liquid. The window was closed shut, and she locked it as she jumped in. Oh, as expected. You're doing great. He answered as he thought about what he had said. Lactation fog will keep the target lactate as long as they aroused. It's incredible that her arousal is so high that she keeps producing milk after I milked her that much. It's a shame that I can only use the fog on one target. Wait a minute. 1 target a day. Jin paused as he stroked his chin and opened his status again. While he did that, Warner began to speak. Yes. However, my milk seemed to stop after I filled 3 bottles. I even masturbated to keep myself aroused, but my passion died down because I wanted to feel your touch directly. She put the bag on the table and touched her boobs with her hands, squeezing them. Please give me the promised things, Jin-sama. I beg you. She stripped her suit, revealing her naked top to Jin before proceeding to take off her skirt too. Meanwhile, sitting on the bed, Jin had a big smirk on his face. An evil smirk that befitted a villain who planned to take over the world. He realized his error in interpreting his lactation fog skill. It said 1 target, but it didn't say the limit. As long as he used it on the same target a day, in this case, Warner, he could make her lactate for as much as he wanted, as long as he kept her aroused. If the milk stopped, he could just arouse her again and use his lactation fog to make the milk gush out. Very well, Warner, Jin replied, throwing his body on the bed. He was in no mood to stand up due to the pain in his leg, so he would stay on the bed and let his cow do the rest. Come here. Let me suck you directly and give you what you want. Warner's face beamed into a smile as he approached Jin. Yes. Jin-sama. As she climbed up the bed, the room was immediately filled with pink fog, giving a naughty atmosphere. Warner didn't think much, only thought that it might be one of Jin's strange abilities from being a milking apostle. She accepted it. Before long, she found herself on top of Jin's, carefully placing herself right on his crotch, avoiding his wound. She didn't realize that milk started to drip from her pink nipples. She could only think of one thing. Finally. I will be given my reward. Jin-sama's cock that I long for. Warner pushed her body against Jin and slowly took off his shirt while licking his neck seductively. Her movement was filled with excitement, anticipation, and arousal as she seduced Jin by pressing her boobs against his bare body. Her tongue rolled around Jin's neck before finally she stopped and whispered in a sultry voice. Ahn, how about this, Jin-sama? Does my body arouse you? I bet it is, right? I felt it, you know? Your bulge is pressing against my wet lower lips. Not really. You must work harder. Do you think my dick is that small? It's just a little bulge. Jin responded with a cold gaze. He found out that this kind of gaze would make any slut get excited. And he himself loved to play with a slut in heat, including Warner. Nothing beats a slut in producing breast milk. Aha! I know about that. Then, how about this? Warner leaned in again, prompting her face to approach Jin's. She opened her mouth and stuck out her long, saliva-covered tongue. She looked sexy as her hair fell into her face. When she was close enough, she put her lips above Jin's, kissing him as she inserted her tongue. HNNSMCHHMNN. A muffled moan escaped Warner's mouth as she rolled her tongue against Jin. She pushed her ass down, rubbing her wet clit against Jin's bulge. However, there was one thing that she didn't take into account. Jin was a very assertive man. And also he was very skilled in kissing. HNN. A loud, muffled moan escaped Warner's mouth once again. Her eyes widened as she glanced to the side. Jin's hands, which had stayed silent until now, grabbed Warner's bouncy ass and squeezed it, spreading the clit wide. He then played it with his hand, rubbing the entrance of her wet lower lips as he pushed his tongue inside her mouth, taking control of the kiss. HMMNNAHHW wait un. The kiss got deeper. Warner's face sank into Jin. She had surrendered her body to him, falling into a deep pleasure as Jin's tongue invaded her mouth. A muffled moan filled the room as the pink fog slowly converged around the bed. Finally, after a minute or so, Warner broke the kiss. A strand of saliva connected their tongues together, and her face was warped in indulgence and ecstasy. Jin moved his hand away. He moved it to Warner's hips, holding both sides as he looked at the sexy cow with the rough breath, which caused her boobs to bounce every time she breathed. That was really intense. I had never experienced something like that. I am confident in my skill in kissing, but you are more than I expected. That's to be expected. But what I didn't expect was Jin raised his left hand which was wet after playing with Warner's clit. You are already this wet. Aren't you ashamed? Why? Nothing to be ashamed of. After all, it's proof that you are a really good man, Jin-sama. Please use me however you wish. Let me serve you with my body. Also please take my virginity. I am ashamed that I am a virgin even though I used my body to seduce men, to kill them. I want you to take it from me. You're a virgin? Jin asked, surprised. He didn't believe it, he even took his hands even off Kalawarner's hips due to his surprise. Phew, yes. You can check it directly here. Kalawarner held Jin's hand, guiding it to her crotch. She put it directly on the entrance of her pussy. When Jin's hand touched it, her body shivered as an unexpected pleasure wave hit her. Ahahh. She moaned in surprise. Even a single touch could arouse such a reaction. The reason was Jin used his golden hand this time. He really wanted to check whether Kalawarner was really a virgin or not. Wait. I changed my oo. Without waiting any longer, Jin inserted one finger into her pussy. Kalawarner's back arched, but Jin dug deeper with his hand. Oh fuck. This I love this. More, Jin-sama. With a red face, Kalawarner begged. Her milk gushed out, and she hugged Jin's head and prompted him to drink from her breast. Jin wasn't someone shy. He replied with, so you love it. Then, using his free hand, Jin took out his cock and slapped it against her ass. In a word, it was gigantic. Kalawarner managed to arouse him. His fingers also reached the wall, her hymen. She was indeed a virgin, which made Jin even more excited. The realization of him going to defile a woman and make her his sent a shiver of pleasure in his mind. He wanted it. He wanted to push his cock into her pussy and break her hymen. Kalawarner also couldn't hold back any longer. With her breast pushed against Jin's head, she held Jin's cock and stroked it. Ah, this big cock is going to enter me. This is going to mark me. Jin-sama. I can't hold back any longer. She raised her body, causing Jin to lose the milk that he drank. Jin was not dissatisfied. She positioned her pussy right above Jin's cock, rubbing the tip of it against the entrance of her hole. Do it yourself, then. Mark yourself as mine. You are mine and mine only. My personal milk cow. Yes. Kalawarner exclaimed. She pushed herself down, her huge boobs bounced, and the tip of Jin's cock entered her pussy slowly. Because of the sudden pleasure that she experienced, her body felt weak and she dropped her ass suddenly. The cock fully penetrated her pussy, breaking her hymen as it hit the deepest part of her wet and slick pussy. She squirted a lot of love juices just by inserting it, causing her to moan loudly. Oh. Why yes. This is it. Jin grunted as a wave of pleasure hit him. He never thought that inserting his cock into a pussy would feel this good. Not to mention, Kalawarner's sexy reaction caused him to be more excited. He raised his body, squeezed her boobs, and sucked her nipples. It was delicious. The milk was more delicious than ever. Combined with the pleasure that he experienced for the first time, Jin was at the height of happiness. He began to move his hip, ignoring the idle Kalawarner, who froze because of her sudden orgasm. He sought pleasure, and he would get it. Jin-sama. So sudden. Oh. Yes. More. As Jin moved, Kalawarner snapped out of her dream and moved her hips too. His cock was wrapped against the tight wall, it felt good, like he was ascending to heaven. The milk also gushes out nicely, more than when he only played with her in the milking room. He loved it. You drink a mouthful of milk. As a result, your lifespan increases by 12 days. You gain 12 EXP. You drink a mouthful of milk. As a result, your lifespan increases by 12 days. You gain 12 EXP. The notifications also rang as he drank the milk. His golden touch wasn't limited to his hand, it extended to his cock too. The pleasure he gave Kalawarner was like a wave of the tsunami, causing her to orgasm non-stop as he kept penetrating her cock against the tight wall of her pussy. He thrust it. Each time it reached Kalawarner's deepest spot, she would scream and moan in pleasure. Oh. Yes. Please give it to me. More. More. I loved it. This cow loves your cock. Oh, I will give it to you. He didn't need to know the technique. It was engraved on him. He knew how to move. How to make his woman fall to him. She held his head and pushed it against her boobs. After a few more minutes of thrusting and drinking the milk, Jin felt something was gonna come out. He immediately pulled his head away and stopped drinking for a second. Kalawarner. I am going to come. Yes. Please do it. Please do it inside. Me too. I am gonna come. Come. Coming. Jin rammed his cock against Kalawarner's deepest part. As if they had made a signal to each other, both of them come at the same time. A big load of his semen was shot into the deepest part of her womb. It was a massive load. As Jin pulled out his cock, the cum dripped from Kalawarner's pussy like a waterfall. Huff huff. That was fantastic, Jin-sama. Kalawarner exclaimed, face red and her breathing turning rough. Satisfaction was written on her face. However, on the contrary, Jin wasn't satisfied yet. He grinned and squeezed Warner's boobs, whispering into her ear seductively. It's not over yet, cow. I will make you unable to live without me. Understand? You are my personal cow. With the whisper, Warner became more excited as her eyes widened, and a small moan escaped her mouth. Why yes. Anything for you. You know that I can use magic, right? Surely you still remember our fight. Jin whispered into Warner's ear as he created water on his right hand with water magic. The magic that he got from Sana was rather versatile. With the assistance of the system, he could control it in any shape he wanted to with just his imagination. Slowly, the water in his hand changed shape to be similar to a long rope as it moved loosely around Warner's body. Jin-sama? What is this? Kia. This is cold. The rope went around Warner's waist, into her inner thighs, then it moved up to her breasts through her cleavage before squeezing it tightly, causing the pair of bouncy boobs to be tightened and squirt milk. Warner squirmed lewdly, she moved around as the water tied her like a girl in a bondage play. She finally realized Jin's plan, and her breathing became rougher as her face turned lewder. She enjoyed it. The cum in her pussy was still dripping from her crotch, but she put her hand under it and accumulated it so it wouldn't go to waste. When all of it was dripped out, she put her hands together and drank it. She was so sexy, and on top of it, she even opened her mouth wide to show Jin that she had indeed drunk all of the semen. Damn. That's sexy. Jin thought. Jin wasn't idle either. He grabbed the tied boobs and squeezed them with his hands, squirting all the milk, and drank it directly by plunging her nipple into his mouth. Ahn. Jin-sama. HNN. Once again, loud moans filled the room. Fortunately or unfortunately, Jin's room was quite soundproof so no one could hear anything from the outside. Being heard moaning in the morning was something that Jin would like to avoid, if possible. Not that the neighbors would think he would have sex in the morning with a buxom woman and in bondage nonetheless. They would only think it was Issei watching porn like usual. Warner's body was being tied nicely, and Jin used his body to hang her in the air, legs spread around to show her pink wet lower lips. Naturally, Jin would have to stand up. Once again, it was fortunate. It seemed like the milk had some healing elements. He felt great after drinking some milk and didn't feel any pain in his leg. He stood right in front of the hanging Warner with a grin on his face. Ahahha. Look at this. A tied-up fallen angel, ready to be drilled and trained. What is your opinion about your situation right now, cow? He squeezed Warner's boob hard and slapped his cock against the wet pussy, causing the fallen to moan loudly and squirt love juices. It was just a touch. But with golden hand, the pleasure was immeasurable. The love juices hit Jin's cock, made it wet, and cleaned it from the rest of the cum that was still covering it. Jin looked at his bitch with cold eyes. So you're saying that you still enjoy it? Why yes. Please bully me more. I loved it. I loved your cock, Jin-sama. Drill my hole with your penis. I see. Jin snapped his finger and controlled the water rope to be tightened up around Warner's body. HMNN. The rope dug into her skin. A slight pain attacked her, but that pain turned to pleasure just a second later. Because Jin suddenly thrust his cock into her meat hole, driving it roughly to the deepest part of her in just one stroke of movement. Oh! Warner moaned loudly. Her tongue stuck out, her saliva dripped from her mouth, and her eyes rolled back. It was the famous ahahha face. You like this, What a masochist. Jin mocked her as he slapped her bouncy boobs and thrust his cock, moving his hips at a fast pace. The boobs bounced around, following his movement, and milk was squirted out everywhere in the room. He couldn't care less for now and just enjoyed the newly sensation that he experienced. Of course, he also drank her milk. It was a waste not to drink it. You drink a mouthful of milk. As a result, your lifespan increases by 12 days. You gain 12 EXP. You drink a mouthful of milk. As a result, your lifespan increases by 12 days. You gain 12 EXP. You drink a mouthful of milk. As a result, your lifespan increases by 12 days. You gain 12 EXP. Meanwhile, Warner, like the good slut she was, moaned in ecstasy. Her hands were tied behind her head, so she couldn't move freely. However, she still managed to look so sexy and appealing, making Jin more aroused. Own ahn. More. Rougher. I love it. I am just a masochist cow. Yeah. Take this. This. Yes. Own more. His hips movement became faster. He grabbed her plump ass with his hands, assisting his movement, and spanked her every now and then. With each spank, the wall around his cock tightened, sending pleasure to him. Ugh. This is bad. I can't get enough. He couldn't stop his hips, and Warner, too, couldn't stop what she experienced. Being milked by Jin had the best sensation for her. It sent the pleasure that she had sought all this time. Jin-sama. I am about to come again. Oh. Coming. Coming. Kalawarner's body shivered as she squirted both love juices and milk at the same time. Jin managed to pull out his cock before it, so the love juices once again wet his genitals. However, right after her orgasm ended, he immediately put it in again and continued moving his hips. Ugh. Kalawarner didn't expect it. Her back arched in the air. Fortunately, the water rope was still strong enough to keep her in the air. He kept moving and drank milk. Both of them enjoyed the company of each other, and loud sexy moans still filled the room. For Jin, it was the greatest experience that he had experienced. Drinking milk was good, but having sex on top of that was really different. He loved it. He wanted more of it. The milk produced was more than the usual milking session too. So he would like to do this every day. Not to mention, his stamina was bottomless as long as he drank milk. Something he was grateful for. Kalawarner. I am about to come. Take it. Take it inside you. Yes. Oh. I loved it. Shoot it inside me. Impregnate me. Make me yours, Jin-sama. On. Me too. Coming. Ugh. Here it comes. Jin thrust his cock deep inside her pussy, her womb, shooting his massive second load right inside her. Kalawarner also orgasmed at the same time. Her back arched. At that moment, the water rope couldn't hold her again and disappeared. Jin caught her with his hands and carried her whole body while they were still connected. They looked at each other and kissed deeply. Their tongues rolled with each other as they made a lewd sound. A minute. That was how long they kissed before separating their lips. Jin grinned, looking straight at dazed Kalawarner. Ready for the third round? He asked in a sultry voice. Kalawarner beamed with a smile. Her face was already a mess, it was so sexy. Her body was covered in sweat, glistening. But she still answered. Anytime. And they continued their breeding and milking session until Jin was satisfied. Unexpectedly, he lasted more than 5 hours, and he gained a lot of EXP and satisfaction from doing the act. The two people were sprawling on the bed, exhausted. They had continued their acts for a few more rounds. The room was a mess. The floor was wet, and the bed was filled with a mixture of sweat, love juices, and milk. However, both of them didn't seem to mind it, they just rested their bodies. Kalawarner was sleeping naked soundly and peacefully beside Jin. She had a satisfied smile on her face as her boobs moved with each breath that she took. Jin was also exhausted. He drank a lot. He meant a lot of milk today. His stomach bloated, but he managed to reach a new height in his system. Yes, his system was about to level up. He just needed a few more EXP. He could gain something now, as he still had a few sips left of Kalawarner's milk in the bottle in his hand. Yes, he could get EXP from drinking milk from the bottle too. It seemed like as long as the source was a humanoid woman, he could gain EXP in lifespan. He needed more tests, and fortunately, he had a willing participant named Kalawarner. Currently, he looked at his system panel and the bottle in his hand alternatively. Should he drink the milk? Or should he wait for a while? His stomach was about to burst. However, the excitement of thinking the system would finally level up was stronger. Well, let's do this. He raised his body and looked up to drink the milk easier in one gulp. And he drank all of it at once, receiving 3 notifications in a row. You drink a mouthful of milk. As a result, your lifespan increases by 12 days. You gain 12 EXP. You drink a mouthful of milk. As a result, your lifespan increases by 12 days. You gain 12 EXP. You drink a mouthful of milk. As a result, your lifespan increases by 12 days. You gain 12 EXP. After the 3 notifications, a fanfare followed suit. The sound was exciting, like a welcome of a fun ride in an amusement park. A trumpet and drum sounds filled Jin's head as a panel popped up in front of him. Level up. Your milking system has increased. All of your skills have increased. It's now level 2, and the effect has changed slightly. Upgrade shop has opened. Upgrade your copied skill by using your lifespan as a currency. Cow brand, level 2, and milk share, level 2, have been learned. The notification was a lot, like a string. His system log was filled with it. Not only that, new knowledge about his skill and the changed effect of the previous skill was also crammed into his brain. It seemed like he discovered some unconventional way to use his golden hand, and the effect changed slightly as a result. It was similar to a skill evolution. Oh fuck! This is dope! He shouted. Jin even threw the bottle in his hand out of surprise. The upgrade was better than he thought. Crash! As soon as he did that, he immediately looked to his side. Kalawarner moved around, turning her body toward him. Her hands were holding his left hand, and she pressed her breasts against it. Jin-sama, I love you. She mumbled in her sleep. Jin sighed. Fortunately, it didn't wake her. If it did wake her, then he wouldn't be able to hold back again and attack her, returning to square one. Anyway, about the change in his system from leveling up. Firstly, the change in his body was clear. He felt stronger. So as he had expected, his strength was related to the EXP that he had. Secondly, the change in his skills. He looked at his status, and the first one that he saw was the milking room. The duration extended from 30 minutes to 1 hour, something that he was grateful for. That meant he could at least do 1 round of sex inside the milking room now, or twice if he come fast. The golden hand also changed. It was now applied to all body parts due to Jin managing to use the golden hand on his penis. The effect was also amplified. Next was the most important thing among his skills. The lactation fog. Is this real? Even Jin couldn't believe the change in lactation fog. The target that he could affect in a day had been increased. At first, he guessed that it would affect 2 women, but no. It increased so it could target 3 women a day. By simple arithmetic, that meant he could get stronger thrice faster and could drink milk from 3 women a day. That was something that he would love to do. His 2 new skills were not less crazy. In fact, those made Jin excited more than the fact that lactation fog could now target 3 women at once. Cow brand and milk share. What a skill! Jin exclaimed, reading the effect of his skill. Cow brand level 2. Skill description, put a brand on your personal cow. Your personal cow will not be able to defy your order regarding anything milk related, including intercourse, when you activate the skill. Personal cow, none. Max target, 3, increased in level 3. Note, make the woman swear to be your personal cow to put a brand in her body. The brand is invisible unless you activate the effect. Milk share level 2. Skill description, not only women have milk. You have white stuff too. Share your skill with your personal cow. The skill shared will be the exact same. Limited to 2 skills each cow, increase in level 3. Yes, he gained a skill to bind a woman to him, to make them his personal cow. He still had none because Warner only swore before he gained the skill. He would make her swear again when she woke up. Then I will make Sana swear too. She almost completely falls for me. He smirked, imagining milking those 2 women at once. A devil in his left hand and a fallen angel in his right hand. It was perfect. However, that was not all. An upgrade shop has been unlocked too. From the name, it sounded important. Maybe it was even a key to making him stronger. And what he guessed was true. Let's see. Upgrade shop, there it is, right under those piles of text. Upgrade shop. Use your lifespan to increase your skill level. Currently limited to level 2. Level 1 level 2 equals 1 Y of lifespan. Use your lifespan to increase your magic rank. Low rank medium rank equals 5 Y of lifespan. It's expensive. But understandable. I can get a lot of lifespan now that my lactation fog could affect 3 women. On top of that, I can use it anytime I want to milk the same target. Not to mention Jin glanced at Warner. I have a personal cow that I can milk anytime I want. Putting those together, 5 Y of lifespan to upgrade my magic seems cheap. At that moment, he felt a squirm around his hand, and then a voice followed suit. Ugh, Jin-sama. Warner woke up and raised her body as she wiped her sleepy eyes. Good morning. She said groggily as she smiled brightly at Jin. Her naked body was so sexy, and Jin became excited again. Good morning, Jin answered, leaning closer to her and kissing her. The kiss was deep, and their tongues rolled around against each other. Well, for now, let's enjoy the day. He thought as he pushed Warner down on the bed, holding her tightly and using his lactation fog once again. There was a time before Issei returned from school. And surely, Jin would use it wisely by drinking milk. It was already noon. Jin was sitting in the living room, on the couch, watching TV while being fed by Warner. They continued until Jin couldn't continue any longer and cleaned the room afterward. Jin-sama. What will you do later? And what should I do? Warner asked as she put a single grape into Jin's mouth. Jin chewed the grape and then gulped it down. For now, I need you to swear once again that you will be my personal cow. Will you do it, Warner? He asked with a grin, looking straight into her eyes. Of course, I will. You have made me unable to feel pleasure if it's not by your touch. Your mark has been etched on my whole body, Jin-sama. Warner answered with a sultry voice. Then do it now. I want to test something. Anything for you. Warner exclaimed as she pulled her body away from Jin. She then put her hand on top of her chest and declared. I, Warner, swear to always be Jin-sama's personal cow. I will follow all his orders and swear my loyalty to him. I will surrender my body to him. Is that enough, Jin-sama? She smiled. At that moment, Jin heard a notification. Warner has sworn to be your personal cow. Do you accept her? Yes/no. Jin immediately pressed yes. And as soon as he did that, Warner suddenly shrieked. Kia. What happened? My breasts feel hot. He immediately looked at her. On her exposed cleavage, some sort of love tattoo was engraved. It was a pink heart-shaped tattoo with small cow horns on both sides. The tattoo glowed, and Warner finally noticed it. "What is this?" she asked curiously as she caressed the tattoo. "It feels like I am connected with you, Jin-sama." She smiled seductively as she looked at Jin, emphasizing her breast and newly edged tattoo. "Congratulations! Warner has been turned into your personal cow. She will not be able to defy your command." "Nice," Jin thought. After a second, the tattoo disappeared because Jin didn't give her any order. As such, the effect of the tattoo wasn't activated, and it became invisible. A small awe escaped Warner's mouth, disappointed that the brand was gone. "It's gone," she muttered. "Don't worry. It will appear again when I want to. I make it invisible because I need you to return to your base first to make Raynare and the others lower their guard. The devils, Citri and Gremory, will attack the church in 2 days. Hide before they attack the church, got it?" Jin stated. "I see. I will follow your order faithfully, Jin-sama. However, isn't making Raynare and my other companion Miltolt your personal cow will be better? I am confident that you can make them fall for you, too, Jin-sama. I think you just need to kill the man, Zeke and Fried, as they would be useless for you." "No, I won't turn her into my personal cow. But I agree to kill those men." Jin denied. His skill was limited to 3 people. He planned to use both of them for Sana and Rias, the high-class devil who had subordinates. Their peerage. Using his skill on Warner's companion would be a waste. 1 fallen angel was enough. He had achieved holy magic, which was fallen angel's main power. Not only that, Raynare had attacked me. She's my enemy. I will torture her and milk her, yes. But I will kill her afterward. About your companion, Miltolt. You can do whatever you want with her. Well then, I will bully that junior of mine. After all, Miltolt only joined this fray because of Raynare's selfish order. I will beat her and send her back to Grigori under your name. I believe Azazel-sama will be thankful to you for saving his subordinate. You can use this to get his favor. Azazel, if I am not wrong, he's the leader of Fallen Angel, a Cotter, right? Yes. And let me tell you, although he appears innocent, he is really cunning. Please be careful around him, Jin-sama. But, he's quite sweet on his subordinate. So he will owe you a favor if you let Miltolt live and make me drag her back to Grigori. Alright. You do that. I just realized that the supernatural world is bigger. I have been too overconfident before. I am counting on you, Warner. Please leave it to me, Jin-sama, Warner answered, bowing at Jin. With that, his plan was on the run. Warner left, returning to the abandoned church, while Jin walked out of his house in a simple t-shirt and sweatpants. He went to the convenience store to buy some drinks. Of course, he still brought the light sword with him. In fact, he hid it underneath his t-shirt. He didn't feel safe without any tool to defend himself after being attacked once. A precaution was a must. The school had also ended. Some students were walking back from school. As the only school in the neighborhood near the convenience store where Jin bought a drink was Ahah Academy, he was greeted by some girls on his way. They appeared to be worried because Jin stayed at home. But he reassured them that he was okay. How could he not be okay? He was enjoying himself all day long with Warner. His injuries were also healed somehow. It seemed like milk also had a healing effect, although he needed to drink a ton of it for his leg to be fully healed. Milk was the best. Once again, nothing could beat milk. But Jin was tired of the milk's taste after drinking a lot of it, so he bought cola instead before leaving the convenience store. As he left and walked back home, he saw his little brother in the distance. He was about to greet him, but he noticed someone else walking beside him. "Huh? Who is that?" he muttered as he looked at the silhouette from a distance. That silhouette had a bright blonde hair that went over the white shawl that she used to cover her head. She was shorter than Issei and looked innocent. Not only that, she was wearing nun clothes. She was clearly a foreigner, seeing that Issei didn't appear to understand the girl's words even a single bit. "That my little brother is hitting on a girl!" Jin exclaimed in surprise. The bottle of cola in his hand dropped to the ground due to the surprise. For someone who want to ask. Asia's arrival a bit earlier due to Raynare showed herself early too. "I made it this way." Jin was confused, as well as surprised. But on top of all that, he was suspicious. A nun visited a town where devils supervised it. After learning about supernatural world, he knew that most of the nuns and priests at least had knowledge about it too. According to Warner, devil, fallen angel, and angel factions were hostile toward each other. Hence, the possibility of a nun coming to the town where devils resided was close to impossible. What's she planning? Jin thought as he tailed Issei and the nun to the park. He looked like a stalker, but he was suspicious of the nun. especially after he knew that his brother had sacred gear. The nun was possibly someone from the church under the angel faction that recruited people to join them. They could have noticed Issei having sacred gear and wanted him to join the church. It might be a situation like, hey, sacred gear is given by God. You must join the church to thank God for the wonderful gift, or something similar. So he followed Issei to see what the girl's goal was. For once, his little brother wasn't as smart and cunning as him, so he was easy to fool. Even more so, he was so kind that he couldn't say no to people who needed help. Let's see what they are doing. Jin strained her ears to hear what they said. If the girl was talking in English, he was sure he could understand the meaning of her words. But, if she was talking in other languages, then he wasn't confident about knowing what she was talking about. And surely, the girl wasn't talking in English. %@ASSG at hashtag, $Y%T@F. It was a language that he couldn't understand. But it seemed like his little brother somehow knew what she said. Or not. Yes. That's true. Ha 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 ha. Issei laughed while rubbing the back of his head. His smile was a bit strained and stiff. From that expression, he knew that Issei was just trying to act like he understood everything. Just trying to look good isn't enough, Issei. After observing his brother for a while, he turned to look at the nun. There was an everlasting smile on her face. Even when she looked troubled, her warm smile never left her face even a second, as if she was a saint. But Jin, of all people, understood that no human was perfect. They had hidden desire, arousal, and the feelings of wanting to be dominated or dominating others. Surely the nun also had some kind of secrets. She could also be a hidden assassin who only acted like a saint. He continued observing them for a while. He had nothing to do as of right now except for doing this and went to sauna later at night to do something of interest. The safety of his little brother was important to Jin. The first reason, Issei was his family, and he had a desire to protect his little brother. Of course, it would be perfect if Issei could protect himself, but that didn't seem to be possible as of right now. And the second, Issei had sacred gear. He would be the perfect ally that wouldn't betray him at all. After all, Jin knew that his little brother also cared about him. As proof, Issei was running toward the QA Academy without changing his pajama when the brown hair heard that he was in the student council room, surrounded by devils. Jin followed the pair for more than 20 minutes before the nun finally used the hand sign to show Issei that she needed to go somewhere. First, they went to the CAF to eat. Then, Issei took the nun to the crepes and brought two before they ate together in the park. What is this? A normal date? Jin muttered as he looked at the pair while hiding in the bush, eating a strawberry crepe. It seemed like his attempt to see the nun's real nature was amiss. The nun was actually innocent. He was right behind them when they bought crepes, and Jin felt almost no power from the nun. Only, there were energies coming from her hands. The energy was soothing and warm, unlike what he felt from fallen angels and the devils. Heck, even Issei's energy wasn't as calming as that. If Jin needed to put it in words, then the energy that he felt from Issei was similar to a raging storm, unstable and prideful. At that moment, the park was full of children. The pair looked at the children while sitting on a bench. It seems that I just see through things too much, Jin muttered, a smile on his face. That nun isn't that suspicious, and it seems that Issei likes her a little bit. If only she had a bigger asset, then I surely would claim her for myself. Unfortunately, she's a bit flat. Jin stood up from his hiding place and was about to head back to his home. It was at that moment something caught his eye. One of the children who was playing soccer fell and got injured on his knee. Jin stopped on his track and looked at the kid who fell, reminiscing about the past. He remembered his childhood with Issei and his childhood friend. Issei often fell like that boy and hurt his knees and Irina would help him brush his wound. He muttered with a smile. Usually, she would run just like that girl. His words trailed off as he saw the nun running toward the boy. That nun had a worried face, and her smile fell. It was the first time Jin saw her smile disappear. The girl then crouched beside the boy and extended her hands. The green light came out from them as a pair of green rings adorned her hands. With Jin's exceptional eyes, he was able to look at the ring and what happened to the boy. The wound on the boy's knees healed instantly. When he saw that, his mouth fell as he muttered. Is that a sacred gear to heal? He exclaimed in surprise. The ability to heal was important and rare. Heck, Kala Warner also confirmed that. She was so surprised when Jin's leg began to heal at a rapid speed. She asked whether he had a healing ability, to which he answered that milk was his source of healing. It was his potion. After all, he was the apostle of the milking goddess. And then, suddenly, a person with healing ability appeared. A grin appeared on his face. It seems that my little brother caught an interesting girl. In that case, I will help him conquer her. Let him enjoy the girls with flat breasts. I loved the big one more after tasting their milk. My boy has preference. But accident happen. Who knows what happen in the future? After seeing what the girl was capable of, Jin returned to his home and watched TV. Meanwhile, Issei took the girl to the destination that she wanted to visit. Is that where you want to go? Issei asked as he pointed at the abandoned church on the hill. It seemed like the girl was about to be the new nun in the church or something. However, Issei knew for sure that the church had been abandoned a long time ago. Not to mention, Issei had a bad feeling about the church. It's like being surrounded by a dark wall. He thought. He wasn't hoping for an answer, but a freeloader in his body suddenly spoke with a growl. Partner, your bad feeling is correct. There is a fallen angel in that church. Whoa. You surprised me. Ha. Get used to it. I have been talking to you since this morning. I can't help it. Even if you said that you are a dragon inside my sacred gear, hearing a voice in my head is strange. How could my host be this weak? It would be better if your brother became my host. He's strong for a human, maybe stronger than the fallen angel in that church. I'm sorry that I am like this, okay? Anyway, you said that the fallen angel is in that church? Will Asia be okay if I leave her alone, Drake? Issei asked in his mind as he looked at the girl before her, who made a gratitude gesture and ran off toward the direction of the abandoned church with a big smile. She will be fine, maybe? Or they will kill her. I don't know. However, you can't do anything to her, partner. Tisk. Can't we do anything? You are a strong dragon, right? And the red gauntlet that appeared on my left arm earlier is a weapon that can even kill a god. I can, but you can't. For now, the only thing you could do is to head back and ask your brother to train you. Didn't you say he knows about supernatural too? Drake's voice was filled with mockery and sounded haughty. But Issei knew for the best that a dragon was usually the strongest creature in games. So he didn't mind if the noisy dragon in his body was a bit loud. After all, he now gained the power of a dragon that he could employ in a battle. I can't do anything, hi. He muttered as he looked at the back of a weak girl who walked slowly, disappearing into the horizon. If I take her right now, the fallen angel surely will try to find her and will attack our house. It's my fault for bringing that black-haired bitch into my house. Yeah, you can't do anything. Being a devil is the fastest way to get stronger, but you don't want that, right? You even refused that Gremory chick when she invited you again to join her peerage in that dark room while naked. Ha ha ha. Your reaction at that time was fantastic. Oh, shut up. Issei shouted in embarrassment. Indeed, he was recruited to become a devil again and was taken into the occult research club room by, surprisingly, Kiba Yueto after school. When he arrived in the room, Rias Gremory was still in the bathroom, taking a bath. She then exited the bath while naked and didn't wear anything before Himejima Akeno brought a towel to cover her body. But Rias senpai heard my brother's words about collecting information. She giggled while telling me that and didn't seem to mind. Heck, he even praised Nii-san for being careful and smart. Also, thanks to Kaiku, she didn't use force and only invited me normally. She looked disappointed when I refused her. Am I that valuable? You are not, partner. I am the one who is valuable. The dragon answered with a huff. Issei looked down, right, his voice was dispirited. However, the dragon wasn't someone who would let his partner whine like a coward. But partner, listen to me. Drake said seriously, gaining Issei's attention. You can become the strongest as long as you have the desire to do so. After all, you are the owner of the boosted gear that hosted me, Red Dragon Emperor Y Drake Gotch. The dragon roared and let out a hearty laugh. Yeah, you're correct. Issei grinned. That way, no one will be able to mess with Nii-san or me. Haha. At least you have the guts. Well, what are you waiting for? If you want to save that girl, you will have at least 2 days before those fallens can do something. Go run back to your home and train yourself with your brother. That's a great idea. I will do so. Come again. Jin asked his brother, who had a rough breath as a result of running from the middle of the town back to the house. Suddenly, his little brother barged into the house and knelt in front of him while saying, as I said, please train me. I need to save a girl from a fallen angel in the abandoned church. Yes. His lazy but kind little brother asked him to train him to become strong because he wanted to save a girl from a fallen angel. That girl, is it the nun earlier? I know that Issei is kind, but how do you know that there are fallen angels in the abandoned church? He asked seriously as he narrowed his eyes, glaring at his little brother. Did the devil in the school tell you about that? And no. Actually, you know the sacred gear Sana Kaiku and Rias senpai talked about this morning. Jin nodded and urged Issei to continue. I think explaining it will be a bit long, so just look at this. As Issei said that, he raised his left hand. When he raised it above his head, a red gauntlet with a green gem on the back of the hand appeared with a red flash. Jin's eyes widened when he saw that. The energy that converged in Issei's hand created the gauntlet. Could it be? Jin opened his mouth, trying to ask Issei. Issei nodded and said, "This is my sacred gear, nii-san. Its name is Boosted Gear. And according to the soul dwelling inside it, Boosted Gear is one of the 13 long Inus, the sacred gear that could kill a god." Sacred gear, Jin muttered, but his curiosity was piqued by something else. "Wait. You said there is a soul dwelling in it," he asked. Suddenly, a deep voice rang from the gauntlet as the green gem glowed and dimmed repeatedly. "Indeed. Hi. Nice to meet you, brother of my host. My name is Y-Drag-Gotch, the Red Dragon Emperor." Ha! Jin let out a confused sound. This was too sudden. But the Dragon Emperor wasn't stopping yet. "I dwelled inside the boosted gear and will help my host. To do that, I need you to train my host." That night, in the Occult Research Club room in Kyoa Academy, the three of Great Oni-sama gathered. One more extra person, often called the Vice President of the Student Council, accompanied one of the Great Oni-sama. The buxom red-haired girl was sitting on a couch across from the bespectacled girl, drinking tea with finesse. Two Japanese naids Hiko with long black hair stood behind their king. One of them looked like a naughty girl, while the other was a serious bespectacled girl similar to her king. They stayed silent and let their king converse with each other. "So, Sana. Let me take care of the fallen angel by myself. It's my own fault for letting them go free to know what their intention is." The red-haired girl, Rias, said seriously as she put the cup of tea on the table. "I made someone important to you suspicious of us because of what I did. I apologize. That's indeed your fault. I asked you to take care of it on the first day, but you decided to observe the situation as to why the fallen angel approached Hyoudou Issei. Maybe he would agree to join your peerage if only you had asked him nicely since day one." "I know that." Rias nodded. "However, you didn't deny what I said about someone important to you. Is Hyoudou-jin that charming for you, dear Sana?" she asked playfully as she chuckled. "Of course. He's the person that I chose to be a member of my peerage, although he refused. And you know that I treasure my peerage." "Yes. Also, Hyoudou-jin. Was he truly ignorant of supernatural 2 days ago? Because, you said that fallen angel attacked him, but he survived. Not any human can pull that sort of thing." Rias asked suspiciously. "The proof is everywhere. They have killed a lot of humans in Kyoa town. Especially the ones who contracted us." She continued. "I can attest that. The reason why the stray exorcist attacked him in the first place was me." Jin-kun said that the strange exorcist said something alongside the line, "I can smell devil's scent on your body," or something. From that, I can conclude one thing. The one who killed our contracts is that stray exorcist. And Jin-kun didn't know about supernatural before he was attacked, that much was clear. This is troublesome. We are in a bind because we don't know much about them. They just suddenly entered our radars a few days ago. And then Hyoudou-jin. He's a cautious person, but how did they get attacked by them? Twice at that. I agree. I already sent my familiar and Koneko to look for their base. We will certainly get the information soon." Sana nodded. "I also sent my familiar and the others to look for their base too. For now, the most suspicious place is." She paused a little, sipped her tea, and continued. "The abandoned church. Slurp smooch. Mmmm. Ugh, yes, like that, deeper." HMNN understood. "Jin-sama." A boy and a woman were inside a bedroom naked. It was already night, a day after Issei asked Jin to train him. The girl knelt in front of the boy, sucking the boy's cock happily, as if it was the most delicious thing in the world. Her saliva dripped around, wetting the ground under her. Jin's personal cow, Kala Warner, had escaped from the base and went to Jin's house. She had already been sneaking out from her base a few times during the last day to get milked by Jin, so the other fallen angels wouldn't get suspicious if she ran away like this. Every time she visited, Jin would milk her until he was satisfied. They would also have sex until the room became a mess. Of course, Issei had met with Kala Warner. His reaction was so funny. They met after Issei was done with Jin's training, sprawling on the ground. When the fallen angel came from the sky, the Dragon Emperor's host freaked out a lot. However, when she didn't attack and just approached Jin with her deranged look, he immediately realized that the fallen angel had fallen to Jin's charm, like the other girls in the academy. From that moment, Issei began to ask the fallen about almost everything regarding supernatural and asked her to teach him how to do magic. Kala Warner taught him at Jin's order. It was also a chance for him to learn more about magic while giving his brother a pointer too. What Jin didn't understand was Issei's behavior toward Kala Warner. Usually, someone would be suspicious if someone similar to the scammer that had scammed him once approached. But Issei could accept Kala Warner readily. Issei also didn't mind when she was alone with Jin in his room. His little brother was even considerate to let them have sex and left the house for a while. Fortunately, their parents were still on vacation, so Jin could milk Kala Warner to get even stronger. Because of that, Jin noticed one thing. His little brother was kind, too kind. In this training session, he would teach him how to be merciless toward his enemy. Tomorrow was the perfect day. Today, however, he wanted to try his new skill on his personal cow. Hence, the reason why Warner was giving Jin a blowjob. The deep throat kind of blowjob. Warner was happy to serve Jin, as she already had her fill for today. Even now, a massive load of semen was still dripping out from her pussy. That's it, Warner. I am coming. Drink it all. Jin held the back of Warner's head and thrust his cock deep inside her throat. When his cock was deep inside her throat, Jin unloaded a massive cum right down her throat. Ugh. Warner's eyes widened. The load was so much that it even went through her nose, causing a mess all over her mess. When Jin pulled out his cock, Warner opened her mouth wide. The strand of cum connected Jin's cock with Warner's cum-filled mouth. She looked so seductive, playing with the cum in her mouth with her tongue, rolling it around, and making a big gulp to swallow it all. At that moment, Jin activated his skill to share his skill with Warner. He chose water magic and magic manipulation as Warner always used her spear to fight. And as soon as he activated his skill, the notification followed suit. Water magic and magic manipulation are now shared with personal cow number 1 Warner. Jin grinned as he heard the notification. Warner didn't seem to hear anything, but she opened her mouth wide and stuck out her tongue to show Jin that she had swallowed all cum inside her mouth. "Twat was delicious, Jin Swama," Warner said with her mouth wide open. She then proceeded to clean the remaining semen on Jin's cock with her tongue, rolling it around the still erect cock. Jin reached out to her head and patted her. "Good job. Now, as you clean it, tell me what you find about them." "Yes." Warner answered. "Tomorrow, the crazy exorcist Fried will take Asia Argento, the nun that you wanted me to look after, with him. It seems he will continue his devil's follower purging, or so he said. Those people have already made a plan for themselves, betraying the Grigori as I've expected since day one. The original plan is only to take Asia Argento to Grigori, but what a fool. They betrayed Azazel-sama. They are really an idiot. From what I heard from Warner, Azazel is strong enough to be respected by many. But they betrayed him? However, devil's followers purging?" Jin asked, confused. It was the first time he had heard this. Indeed. Warner nodded as she smiled. She had cleaned Jin's cock clean. That meant he would murder people who had made a contract with the devil. And he will take Asia Argento with him. This may have turned into something more troublesome than I thought. The devil surely will not like where this is going. The next morning, Jin had a morning jog with Issei. He woke his little brother up at 5 am, and both were running for at least 20 kilometers. Unexpectedly, even after running for 20 kilometers, Jin didn't even feel exhausted. On the other hand, Issei had trouble breathing but still managed to finish without even stopping. Nonetheless, a feat worthy of praise for a normal human. Not too normal because he had a sacred gear with a freaking dragon dwelling inside it, though. After Issei awakened his sacred gear, Jin gained a trustworthy person, or in this case, a dragon, to get the information from. The dragon, Drake, explained happily to Jin as long as he trained Issei to get stronger. The dragon said the reason why he wanted Issei to get stronger was to enjoy his awakening after a long time, a few hundred years. Not only that, but he also said someone called White Dragon Emperor, called Hakuryuakao, would come after him after the dragon realized his presence. The two dragon emperors were fated to have a fight for eternity. And so, both would attract each other when they were close. So Issei getting stronger was important so that he wouldn't get killed by the White Dragon Emperor. After running for 20 kilometers, Jin also took Issei to the park so they would be able to spar. Of course, the spar was only using bare hands so as not to injure each other. This night, they had an important thing to do, find the crazy exorcist and take Asia Argento away before joining the devils to attack the fallen angels. Warner was on her way to Grigori's base to report to Azazel because the situation had changed greatly as they sparred right now. In the spar, Issei activated his boosted gear and used the technique called boost to double his strength. It was the technique of the sacred gear, doubling his strength every 10 seconds without limit until the user reaches their limit, whether it's their physical abilities or magic based on the user. However, come on, Issei. Use your fucking legs and move. Do you want to be beaten like this? Those meant nothing if the wearer couldn't fight properly. Jin confronted Issei, and he sent out a punch to his abdomen. Issei blocked the punch with both arms but was still pushed away due to Jin's raw strength. Ugh! Issei grunted and looked up. At that moment, Jin was already gone, circling around Issei and sending a kick to the back. The kick connected, and Issei fell to the ground hard and rolled a few times before sprawling on all four. Gah! That hurts, Nii-san. Why are you so weak? You said you wanted to save that nun, right? That much is nothing compared to being pierced by a spear. Jin approached Issei and pulled him up. After that, he retreated to make a distance and put on a boxing stance. Truthfully, the only reason why Jin helped Issei was that he wanted to get that nun with healing power to his side. The girl seemed to have a good relationship with Issei, and the opposite was also true. So he would help his little brother to get that nun. That way, he would gain an ally with healing power. He didn't want to turn her into his personal cow because of his consideration of his little brother and, more importantly, his own preference. He would save the 2 slots for Sana and his new target, Rias Gremory. Your brother is correct, partner. That was nothing compared to the fight among those in supernatural world. You can even lose your life if you don't take this seriously. Tisk. But it hurts. Issei shouted as he looked at the gauntlet on his left hand. Don't whine and start again. I won't hold back, you know. Jin rushed at Issei and sent another punch even though his little brother wasn't ready yet. The punch connected, and Issei was blown away once again, shouting in pain. Arg! He hit the ground, then immediately got up and looked at Jin while holding his cheek with his hand. That's unfair. Jin grinned as he looked at his little brother and said, there is nothing unfair in a fight. Only unprepared and the fools. Come again. Let me show you how it works. It seems that your brain has forgotten how to fight after fooling around all this time. Girl, right. I have promised myself to save that innocent girl. I will spare no effort. Issei got up and raised his arms in a fighting stance. Come. Drake, I will be counting on you. Of course, partner. The dragon roared, then followed by a voice. Boost. Nii-san. I hope you're ready. The sparring ended in the afternoon. Of course, Jin wiped the floor with Issei. The spiky-haired boy could only hit Jin after he boosted himself a few times. And after hitting Jin, he fell to the ground, lifeless. Issei's stamina was exhausted, and his body couldn't handle too many boosts at once. The limit was 4 times, something that Drake called impressive for a human's first time. All of that was also thanks to Jin, who always nagged his little brother to exercise every week. The sun had already set. On this Sunday dusk, Jin and Issei were standing in front of their house while wearing a set of easy-to-move clothes. On Issei's left hand was boosted gear, he had already activated it so Drake could inform them about incoming enemies or find the stray exorcist, as the dragon unexpectedly had a good sense to feel something unnatural. Jin had the light sword in his hoodie's pocket. He also brought a little bottle of Kalawarner's milk in case he was injured. It acted like a potion and would heal him slowly, but it was better than nothing. It at least could dull the pain of the wound until he got proper treatment in the form of fresh milk. Their goal, for now, was to find Asia Argento and take her away from the stray exorcist. According to Kalawarner, Raynare wanted to kill Asia Argento and take the nun's sacred gear using some kind of tool tonight. Kalawarner sent the news to Jin's phone through the mail. Yes, she used a phone too. So, this night was the last chance to save the healer girl. And the perfect moment to save her was when she was only alone with the exorcist to purge the devil's followers. Now then, Issei. Are you ready? Jin asked his brother. Yeah. Let's do this, Nii-san. I will save that girl, I promise that to myself. After they were ready and were about to find Fried and Asia Argento, Drake suddenly spoke and warned them of something. Hey! 2 people are approaching. They are around 500 meters away and keep getting closer. Also, their energies reek of that holy thing. Maybe you don't need to find them? Ha ha ha. Holy thingy? Is it a fallen angel? Anyway, Issei. Let's get away from here. Jin asked Drake as he walked away, followed by Issei. No. The energy belongs to humans from the church and from a sacred gear from that Asia girl. Maybe the devil's follower that buxom woman talked about is you? Ha ha ha. Isn't this convenient? It is convenient. But we need to get away from our house. I don't want to destroy it. True. Issei agreed to Jin's words. Nii-san. Can you handle Fried alone? Because, you know. Jin patted Issei's shoulder and smiled, don't worry. You handle the girl. After all, I have some beef to be settled with the crazy guy. I will handle him myself. Nii-san thanks. It's nothing, Jin answered. I am confident to take him one-on-one right now. I have gotten stronger from leveling up my system and drinking a lot of milk. Jin stood in the middle of an open park alone. Strangely, there were no other people in the park, and he told Issei to hide behind the bush to wait for the perfect moment to snatch the nun and run away. It had been a minute after he reached the park. They ran at full speed from their home to avoid some unwanted destruction. According to Drake, the crazy exorcists approached them slowly. They would arrive in a few seconds if they kept going at their speed. As proof, there was already a barrier around the park that prevented normal people from entering. It rejected them, making them think that they didn't want to enter the park. Jin chose to fight near the fountain, right at the center of the park. Not only were there no trees in the way, but there was also a lot of water. That way, he could control and use it to trap Fried. Surely, the crazy exorcist didn't know that Jin could use water magic. The area itself was big. At first, he chose this to make sure their fight wouldn't be disturbed by normal people. However, the barrier made his intention meaningless. At least there won't be any innocent victims, he thought. At that moment, a familiar crazy voice belonged to the person who had attacked him a few days ago. My. Why are you running from me, oh devil's worshipper? Jin immediately shifted his attention toward the voice. He gripped the light sword tightly in his hand, ready to swing it at any moment because he knew that the madman had a gun. When he looked over the voice's source, he saw the white-haired man walking toward him, seemingly defenseless, with a familiar nun behind him. The nun looked innocent and confused, but she didn't even dare to say anything and kept looking down at the ground. The bush on his right, where Issei was hiding, moved a little. It seemed like his little brother got a little bit impatient. Fortunately, there was a rational dragon accompanying Issei on his left arm. For now, Jin could focus his attention on the mad exorcist. With a mocking grin, he replied to him. I wonder who followed me when I just exited my house, but it seems a crazy man has found me. How are you, crazy man? Thanks for the sword, though. It's really useful. Jin raised the light sword and gave it a little swing, showing it off to the crazy exorcist. You don't need to thank me. I can get another one like that without a problem. The mad exorcist pulled out a similar light sword from his robe and activated it. A beam of light came out from the hole, but it was a bit smaller than Jin. The reason was that Jin had gotten used to controlling magic power, so he could create the blade to be more powerful than before. Also, he got holy magic from Kalawarner. His affinity with holy things had been raised. See? But you can use it, huh? What a surprise! What blasphemy! I must exorcist you, oh devil worshipper! Being called a devil worshipper was something that ticked Jin off. Surely, he wasn't a devil worshipper. Heck, he even planned to domesticate a devil to be his personal cow. It was more fitting if he was called milk connoisseur or milk apostle. At least those titles fit his action the best. Blah 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 blah, can you shut your mouth? It stinks. Jin waved his hand in front of his nose. If you want to attack me, just do it. I bet you're just stalling for time so your comrade can arrive and help you. He smirked. It was the card that Jin prepared against a crazy opponent, a taunt. He was hoping that his opponent would take his bait. And surprisingly, the madman bit the bait. You're so arrogant, huh? I hate it. I hate some arrogant bastard. Fried rushed toward Jin at a fast speed, readying his sword to be swung at any given moment. However, Jin was ready. He had fighting experience now. He had dealt with magic and his little brother's superior strength from the boost of the boosted gear. Fried's movement looked a little slow, slower than Issei's with his 4 times boosts. Facing that speed, Jin calmly stepped to the side and swung his sword down. However, Fried had more combat experience. His instinct blared, and his muscle memories automatically moved his sword to block Jin's. Oops! 2 light swords clashed, creating a spark. The mad exorcist rolled around to the ground due to his bad balance after getting attacked by Jin. He quickly pulled himself up and dusted his robe as he glared at Jin. Hey, you're not bad. You're getting stronger than before, coward. The madman taunted. Jin was able to keep his calm. He certainly didn't mind being called a coward as long as he survived until the end. Cowardice was also a weapon. A man should know when to retreat. But a man also needed to pay back what they got. For example, no, I am not that strong. Isn't it because you're too weak, freak? Oh, I am sorry. Your name is Fried, yeah? I thought it was freak for a moment as you don't look like a sane man and more like a freak. Although Jin cringed at his own taunt, it worked nicely against Fried. The mad exorcist's face fumed in rage. It turned as red as a tomato due to his anger as he pulled out his gun and held it with his left hand. The crazy man pointed the muzzle at Jin's head as he declared, "All right, you're dead." That gun was scary for Jin when the madman pointed it for the first time at him. However, he wasn't afraid anymore. There was something scarier than the gun, and he had it. There was a reason why Jin could conjure 5 light spears at once with ease. He had increased his magic power to medium rank and increased all skills related to magic to level 2. He also increased his basic swordsmanship and basic throwing to level 2 in preparation for tonight. Power leveling by drinking Kalawarner's milk proved to be useful. It was truly the best way to get stronger. As a result, his hard-working lifespan, which he increased until 18Y, had been reduced to only 8Y. However, he didn't mind. He could always get his lifespan back by drinking milk. And surely, he would make Sana swear to be his personal cow in a short time. That would be something for the future. For now, Jin focused on his opponent, the mad exorcist, Fried Selzen. The exorcist's face turned a bit ugly as he saw the light spears conjured by Jin. Hey, what the fuck is that? He moved his sword around, pointing at light spears above Jin's head. Are you blind? That's holy magic, of course. Jin replied cynically. As if mocking the crazy man, Jin conjured another 10 light spears. This time, those light spears appeared around the exorcist with the tips pointed at the man's body. Jin purposely avoided the head, as Fried had shown him the ability to move at a fast speed. Dodging the spears that had an obvious target, such as a head, was surely a bit easy for the mad exorcist. For that reason, he only pointed at a random spot of the exorcist's body. At this moment, the exorcist couldn't carelessly move. However, he was still holding a gun, so Jin hadn't yet sent a signal to Issei to get the nun. It was still dangerous. Just a pull of a trigger could kill a human. Tisk. You fucker. Fried shouted as he pulled the trigger of his gun. Jin was already prepared for it. He swung his sword at the light bullet trajectory and blocked it. At the same time, the light spears in the sky were shot toward Fried. The speed was slower than the bullet, but it came from all directions, so Fried wouldn't be able to escape uninjured. Fried tried to dodge the light spears by jumping back. He managed to block some of the spears with his light sword, but ultimately, the spears were too much for him. 3 of the spears managed to hit his body, injuring his side as blood began to flow out. It hurts. He screamed in pain. Surprisingly, not even 1 spear managed to pierce through his body. The exorcist was better than Jin initially thought. While 3 spears hit him, the wound wasn't too deep. Fried's movement wouldn't be really affected by the wound. But Jin didn't have the time to think of that. He approached Fried at a fast speed and swung his sword. The target was Fried's arm which held the gun. Jin wanted to disarm him, as his initial goal was to make Issei snatch the nun and run away from the place. Hey! That's unfair! Fried shouted as he stepped back, dodging Jin's slash. Nothing is unfair, Jin said lightly before kicking the ground. He sent another slash. This time, it cut the gun in half, making the exorcist step back further and let go of the gun. Shit! Fried cursed, landing a little bit away from Jin. He was in no favorable position. His speed and strength were inferior to Jin's. What kind of thing you did to your body, you heretics? There is no way you can get stronger that fast. Just a few days ago, you were weaker than me. As I said earlier. Jin coldly spoke as he approached Fried once again. He managed to arrive in front of Fried in less than a second. I drank a lot of milk. He then sent a thrust toward the exorcist's head. Fuck you. Fried parried Jin's attack. The trajectory was averted and only hit the exorcist's shoulder. But his attack didn't end that. He continued attacking. Each move was heavy and sharp, pushing Fried back to the edge. As they exchanged attacks with their light sword, Jin found this as a chance to get the nun. Issei! He shouted loudly, giving a signal to his little brother, who was hiding behind the bush. At that moment, Issei jumped out from the bush and ran toward the nun. Asia! Let's run! Issei shouted loudly, gaining the nun's attention. Issei! The nun answered, she looked confused. However, when Issei suddenly grabbed her by the hand and pulled her, she followed obediently. Seeing the nun running away, Fried gritted his teeth and jumped back. I won't fucking let you. He then threw his light sword toward Issei and Asia. The light sword hit Jin's shoulder, creating a rather nasty wound on it before flying toward the duo, who ran away from the park. Ugh! Jin didn't expect Fried to throw his only weapon. He grunted in pain and clenched his teeth, trying his best not to scream. After he clenched his teeth hard, he immediately conjured another light spear to block the light sword. At the perfect moment, the light spear blocked the light sword, and Jin approached Fried again. Shit! Fried shouted, clearly panicked as he tried to pull something out of his robe pocket. Jin didn't know what the exorcist would pull out. It could be something dangerous, so Jin increased his speed even further as he conjured a light spear in his free hand while running. I won't let you! He shouted and threw the light spear. It flew faster than when he only controlled it with his thought and pierced through Fried's hand and body, creating a hole in the right side of the exorcist's stomach. Arg! It fucking hurts! An anguished scream escaped Fried's mouth as he launched back and fell to the ground. Blood flowed from the hole. The madman was moving around and screaming in pain. His right hand was severed from the wrist. However, the crazy man didn't die yet. His body convulsed uncontrollably like someone in shock. Jin's eyes were cold while looking at the madman. He approached the madman, whose body was dyed red by blood, and looked down on him while pressing the wound on his shoulder. Fried saw Jin and tried to extend his severed arm toward him. Help! A pitiful cry for help escaped the madman's lips. Help! Jin asked in a cold tone. Sure. After that short word escaped his lips, he created a light spear above the madman's head and dropped it directly without mercy. That was Fried's last word before the light spear pierced his head, killing him instantly. I will gladly help you to go to hell. Jin walked away from the fight location after ensuring that Fried was dead. He took out the small milk bottle from his pocket and drank it. It was only 3 mouthfuls of milk, but it was enough to stop the bleeding on his shoulder and restore his stamina. Ha! As expected. Drinking milk after having a fight is the best. Jin exclaimed as he tossed the empty bottle to the trash can on the side of the street. Even though he just killed someone, he didn't even feel guilty. Instead, he felt like that madman deserved to die after all he had done, killing innocent humans in Ahah town. Maybe not too innocent as the one the crazy exorcist killed made a contract with devil, but it stayed the same. Jin didn't feel guilty killing Freed. Now then Jin licked the remaining milk on his lips and looked at the bush, where he felt the presence of two people. Surprisingly, his little brother hid in the place not too far from where he killed Freed. You can come out now, Issei. The bush moved, then Issei appeared with the nun. Both were holding hands, with Issei still wearing the boosted gear. His little brother had a worried expression replaced by a relieved smile, while the nun still appeared terrified of something. Ha ha ha, you are done. Issei laughed awkwardly and asked Jin before looking at his left and right. Did it? Jin nodded slightly, putting on his usual warm smile. Don't worry. He won't be able to attack us anymore. More importantly, he looked at the terrified nun and approached her. The nun's body jerked a little when he got close to her as she hid behind Issei. It seems that this girl is a shy one. As expected, not my type at all. Jin stopped in front of them and peeked at the nun. Can you speak English? If you can, just nod your head. He asked. The nun, Asia Argento, nodded slightly. Just a bit. Good. Just listen to me. We will stop at our house for a while. I hope you will stay at our house tonight, got it? Issei and I still have some matters to finish. We will return late at night or morning, even. After we return, we will talk about something. Just those fallen angels are planning something terrible to you, so we step in to stop them. Nod your head if you understand. Instead of nodding like earlier, the nun stepped out from Issei's shadow and looked straight into Jin's eyes. Her gaze was innocent, which Jin had never seen before in other girls. As he stared into Jin's eyes, she asked with a shaking voice. Why? Hi. Jin couldn't understand why she asked that. Misunderstood Jin's voice as a confused one, Asia repeated. Why did you try to save me? I just met Issei once. Instead of being answered by Jin, it was Issei who answered the girl's question. Even Jin was surprised that his little brother could speak English very well. Not a lot of Japanese people could do it. What are you saying? Of course, we will save you. You looked like you wanted some help. I can't leave that kind of girl alone, so I asked Nii-san's help to save you. Issei-san Nii-san Asia muttered as tears welled up in the corner of her eyes. It quickly accumulated and then dripped down from her cheek to the ground. Thank you very much. The nun cried loudly. Issei took his time and hugged her to his chest, patting her head to calm her down. There. It's fine. Jin looked at them warmly. The pain of the wound on his shoulder had already gone. It began healing slowly but surely. Not fast, yes. But it healed nonetheless. He began to wonder whether the milk he drank was a health potion or something similar. Anyway, they spent a lot of time in the park. Shortly after, his phone rang. He took it out of his pants pocket and saw that there was mail from a contact named Cow Candidate 2 that told him to go to Ahah Academy as fast as possible. That Cow Candidate 2 was actually Sana, he just named it as such because he wanted to prank her a bit in case she saw his phone. Also, he believed that she would soon become his second personal cow, seeing that she really enjoyed that night. He grinned and put his phone back. Then he looked at his little brother, who soothed the nun and said, Issei. It's time to go. In the Ahah Academy, more specifically in front of the entrance gate of the school, two groups had gathered. If someone from the school saw the group, they surely recognized them. One of the groups was the student council, led by Sana, and the other belonged to a cult research club, led by Rias Gremory. Those two groups unexpectedly got along with each other. The Occult Research Club, or ORC for short, only had 4 members, including Rias Gremory and Himejima Akeno. The 2 other members were also famous in the academy. One of them was a handsome boy with blonde hair, Kiba Ueto. While the other one was a short white-haired girl, she was Tujao Koneko. Didn't need to mention it, but all of them were devils. Reincarnated devils, to be exact, except for Sana Satrai and Rias Gremory, who belonged to noble houses. A high-class devil. They were waiting for someone. A human. But not some random humans. This human was special. Clearly impatient, Rias Gremory taped her feet against the ground with her arms crossed under her huge breasts, pushing them. Sana, where is he? She asked her bespectacled friend. He will be here soon. I have sent an email. Sana answered calmly. She looked in the direction where the human's house was located. But he's late. I never thought he would be someone who arrived late at an important time. The president squinted her eyes, dissatisfied with the human who didn't arrive on time. However, at that moment, two boys appeared from a distance. They wore similar clothes, and the groups recognized them. Why is he with Hyoudou Issei? He's just a normal human. The black-haired girl exclaimed with anger mixed in her tone. On the contrary, the buxom red-haired girl smiled. It seems interesting. She then turned to the youngest member of her peerage. Koneko, do you feel something from them? The white-haired girl nodded, pointing her hand at the black-haired boy in the distance. Holy, and milk. She said, then pointed at the other boy. That one smell like a dragon. When she said that, everyone instantly gasped. A dragon. One of the strongest races in the world. The smile on Rias's face widened. As expected. She exclaimed proudly. I will try to invite him later after we show him our strength. Surely he will agree. She muttered in a low voice. The two youths in the distance were now close to them. The black-haired one had a smile on his face. His left shoulder was somehow covered in red, but the groups didn't really think about it. Maybe it was painted red. A fashion, maybe? They stopped in front of the group, then the handsome boy, Jin, said. Shall we go then? To the abandoned church. Even though he was late, he acted like the leader of the others.